Today is April 11th, 2020. I hope this update has everyone in good health. We've been praying for Boris Johnson here in America the last week, and I understand he's now doing better. So that was, anyway, we didn't want that tragedy. And again, this hydroxychloroquine seems to be proving out that it's really doing a great job. Wherever they start to use it, they start to get a handle on the virus. We had a governor up in Michigan. She first banned the use of hydroxychloroquine, and then people started getting well using it, and she had to reverse herself. And now up in Detroit they have a handle. Evidently it's now stabilized, and I'm giving credit to the use of hydroxychloroquine. I'm not sure why our health department is lagging, but in India on March 23rd they recommended the use of that drug, and they wanted, as a preventative measure, they wanted all their healthcare workers to use it. So India's been on top of this for weeks now, and I think they have a very low, well, last time I checked they had a very low death count compared to the United States. And that's 1.3 billion people, and we're 360 million. So they seem to be doing, even though they have less equipment, they're doing a better job. Anyway, I mean, the death count means something to me. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets worse. I pray it doesn't. I pray that they totally whack it and it goes, they get total control of it. Okay, well, this is a garden update, so there's enough of that. And here we go. If you notice, I'm in my greenhouse. You might be able to see the plants behind me. Here. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. He is risen. It's Easter morning somewhere in the world, and this is, the day that he rose from the dead. So it's been 2,000 years, but he's still alive, and you can be alive in him. Okay, here we go. So this is what's happening here. Look at this. I'm having trouble watering my plants. Look at, I had to add this cinder board because my tomatoes were getting so tall I couldn't. You can see how they're getting up against the side there. So I had to pot up my plants into larger containers. I did a lot of this yesterday, and then I had a lot of plants in these small cups, 5-ounce cups, 5.5 ounce, and so I had to go up to, I think these are 12-ounce cups. So I had to pot up a lot of my different plants because they're growing so much. And you can see the forest of tomato plants in here. And down here, I have another, you can see over there, there's another 6 and some down. Now my problem is I'm now having trouble watering my plants. Can you see them? And what's crazy is that tonight it's supposed to get down to 55, but tomorrow night it's supposed to get down to 28. So since it's nice out today, I'm gonna start taking a lot of these plants outside so I can water later on. And there you are. This is kind of the greenhouse. I've got a lot of my squash coming on, as you can see, and I still need to wait another week to plant them out because there's like 4 days of kind of cool weather. So maybe on the 17th. Now normally the average last frost date is the 15th, and I had hoped that it would be early this year, but see, some of my peppers are coming on. Anyway, this is how things are looking. See that? Okay, here, let's get going. So this is what. So my water container is now empty. I've had to use it all, but possibly tonight. Tomorrow's supposed to be all rainy. And you can see, oh, the potatoes breaking through again, but I've been filling this up. In fact, this has been one of my best years for filling up a container with dirt as the potato plants have grown. So I'm kind of happy with this center pipe in this deep container. I mean, that's like a 15-gallon container. Now, my corn. So here soon I need to dig it up, half of it or more, and transplant it because this is way too thick, and this was just supposed to be a nursery starting spot. So we'll see what happens. But I guess in a week I'll dig that up, Lord willing. But the peas are doing pretty good. Now this is where I've been so sad. Look, all of these early hopeful, you can see the tomato plants, they're all struggling. The marigolds seem to be okay. But I'm having to cover them, but you can see I'm going to have to, this is why you wait until the 15th. But I have extra plants. I knew I was taking a risk. And if I would have kept these guys inside, I guess they would be in even a larger container. So this is how things are looking. The peas are coming on. Now I'm even covering these guys, but I probably don't need to. But and potatoes, I covered them. I didn't want well, they're popping through again, but I didn't want the cold weather to damage them. Oh, look at that. I planted some potatoes over there too. I had forgotten that, but they're popping through. By the peas there, you know, I had a lot of extra potatoes I was planting out, and you know, you plant them wherever when you're desperate. At least I do. Okay, that's how things are looking. So here we are in my backyard. I will say that I have been finding a number of mushrooms along my back fence. Not today. I haven't found any today. Of course, it's pretty dry. But after it rains, I expect to find a whole bunch around. But look. Now, I'm tilling. This is my side of the fence, and this is my neighbor's side. But I've gotten permission to work back in here. Thank goodness. So I'm cleaning out these bushes. I'm going to clean this area up. You can see the thorns. So slowly. But and can you see all that over there? Stuff that I'm cleaning out. But look at these vines. I don't know if you can see them up in the tree, but they've actually destroyed a lot of these trees. I was cleaning out here today. So, but can you see how this tree has been totally pulled over? That's due to these vines. This area has been left for years and years, and the vines have grown up and can you see them up in the tree now? Last year I cut a lot of the vines. I came through, at least in this area by my fence, and I dug out vines. Now it turns out that the above ground and below ground, there's just as many vines. Here, can you see these vines? Right there. I've been cutting on this. But can you see all the vines? I pull, and some of these are bushes, but you can see how the bushes are all pulled down vertical to the ground, and then all this. So it's a mixture of vines and these bushes, and you can see up in the tree, that tree's been damaged. So we'll see. I'm going to clean up back in here, and I don't know if this will be gardened this year, but if I keep working on it, this used to be a garden back in here when I first moved in, on that side of the bushes. Here, let me show you. This used to be a garden area back in there. And you can see how the vines, and it's kind of like, well, I was thinking about sin in our lives. Whenever we just leave an area of our life and we just let the vines multiply. And you may not see this, but last year I cleaned this out, and then I came back again this year, and the vines were spreading out over it again. And I was just thinking how sin encroaches in our life like that. You gotta dig up the vines, and you have to work on it every year. If you can see up in the tree, there's vines. Now some of these are alive, and some of them have been cut. And I need to get back there and cut these vines and work on them. What it does, this used to be vines through here. Well, there's still a lot of vines in there, but there were bigger vines. Here, let me show you how thick the vines are. Can you see how thick that vine is? Can you see this? So, can you see them there on the ground? Those vines are, 2.5, 3 inches, 2 inches. And then the bushes are all knocked over vertical. So, anyway, I'm not sure how much of this area I'm going to clean out, because there's trees above. You can't plant in underneath there. But this area, if I clean it out, if I clean this out, I can make this into a garden. But anyway, along this fence I plan to plant squash, pumpkin, corn. You remember that corn I was pointing out to you? I think I'm going to plant it, see if it will grow back here. Trouble is, back here I don't water it. God will have to water it for me. So that could be the problem. Anyway, there you are. I'm not sure what we call this garden. Last year I called it the secret garden. So maybe we'll keep that name. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this update. God bless you guys. Wow. If anybody who's been following the FISA business with Crossfire Hurricane. Anyway, the whole business with the attack on Trump when he was a candidate. It looks like Durham has issued some indictments. It sounds like they're being opened, a few of them. So we'll see if it happens. I mean, when there's arrest, then I'll know. But it's been reported on Hannity that John Solomon said that is happening. So anyway, Q's out there. He has a whole bunch of stuff on that things, and kind of letting the people know what's happening behind the scene, and to make us aware of a lot of the stuff that's being cleaned up. A lot of CEOs have been fired, have been replaced. Thousands. And once you realize that's happening, congressmen and senators have been replaced. There's still a lot to do. FBI people have been replaced. DOJ people, State Department. A lot of the intel people have been fired and replaced. The courts in America, a lot of the courts have been, a lot of judges have been appointed. So there's a huge shift in America in terms of going away from evil towards righteousness. So that's a really good thing. Anyway, he's risen. Love you guys. Bye-bye.